Hey everybody, I'm William,
And I'm Keena.
and we are the Nerdyweds.
And today we're doing our top 12 of recommendations for games that people can play at the holidays. So we've done in the past, we've done virtual games, we've done games for couples. And because even though we're social distancing, some people have large families that live together or people that they hang out with constantly. So they're not worried about catching anything because they're always around those people. So we wanted to cover all bases. So today's episode is for you guys. It's for people who are gaming in groups.
And this will be the last time I allow
You allow. You allow.
the day of Vlogmas to dictate how many games go in our list. Because 12 is getting out of hand. I can't imagine day 20 we're doing more board games.
Who's to say we're still going to be doing recommendations in day 20 or the last week
Who's
of
to say
Vlogmas?
what we're going to be doing on day 20 of Vlogmas? But I'm
Well, you
not
guys,
doing 20 board
stay
games.
tuned and we will see if there's going to be another countdown or list based on the day. We will see.
There might be-
You said what you said. So we're going to go ahead and jump right into our list. And Mr. Man over here, he's going to give the first one.
And that is, get the right side up, Sushi Go Party. This game is a fun card drafting kind of style game with set collection and a bunch of other game mechanics. It is kind of like you're setting at a sushi carousel. And as the sushis are coming around, they're represented by decks of cards. Each player is given a deck of cards. The player takes the card they want from the deck, puts it in front of them, passes the rest of the deck to the next player, and takes the deck from the player on the other side. And all the decks get passed around and around until all the cards have been selected, and everybody scores their sets for that round. It is a fun game. This is the expanded Sushi Go Party. There is the regular Sushi Go that plays 2 to 4 players. This plays 2 to 8 players and has many, many other sushi options that the regular Sushi Go doesn't come with. Highly recommended. It's a lot of fun.
Yes, it is. And I love that you described it as being sitting at the sushi carousel because I do get that feeling and that's what I like about it because I love my food and I always want to have all of these different food games that we have, especially the sushi ones. I want to do a game night and have sushi foods and play these games. So I am going to start with my first recommendation, which is Lanterns. And this game, the premise is that the players are a bunch of artists that are making a decorative lake, like they're decorating the lake. And the person who gets the most honor, which is points, are the people who win, or the person, I should say, who wins. So it's a cute little game that is equal parts towel placement and card drafting because that's how is it card drafting? Set collection because that's how you get your points and that's how you get your honor. So you have this main towel that gets placed on the board and then each player gets 3 towels that they will add to the main towel on their turn by matching it. So this is the main one and then you can see the colors on there and that's how the players are matching. So you have right here, I would match by taking this white one because that's the only one that has the same color as the main one and then matching it to it. And as you're placing your towels, you can see the board expands and you will have more options to match colors and you'll get more points by doing that, which allows you to get more cards, which are your lantern cards, which is what you were talking about set placement. Because depending on how you create your set, whether it's a 4 of a kind or one of each color or 2 of each color for a total of 6 different sets of 2. You get points that way, you get honor that way, and that's how you win the game. So it sounds like there's a number of different things that you can do, and there is, but they're all simple, and it makes it a dynamic game because there's a number of things that you can do, but it also makes it an easy game because they're all simple. And it's things that you've done in other games, matching, creating sets. And it's just combined together in one game. So it makes it easy for people to sit down and learn it and jump into the game and start playing and having fun really quickly. So that's what I like about Lanterns.
One of the things I really like about Lanterns, it's one of these games where on somebody else's turn, you get stuff too. When you place one of those tiles that she showed you, each player is represented in the 4-player game by a cardinal direction on the card. So if you're the left one and somebody places, you get whatever color is facing you. So you get the card. So when they place a tile down, you get a card as well as them getting cards for the matches and what color is facing them. So that's really great. I love games that allow you to get stuff on other people's turns.
Yeah,
you
it
get
makes
excited for other
it
people's
makes
turns.
it go by faster, especially when you have someone who on their turn takes a long time because they suffer from analysis paralysis. It makes it fun for those other people who have to wait because they're still doing something.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know why I stood here and held this up like I was Vanna White. Your turn.
Now, we're going to use that as a segue into another game that has that same kind of feature, Space Base. This game, you get stuff on your turn and on every other player's turn. This, you start out with a tableau of a base in front of you. The bases are represented by these cardboard kind of, what would you call that? That's just like a marker system that shows you what cards belong in that area with numbers 1 through 10 or 0 through 9, something like 9 through 0, or 1 through 0, sorry. So 10 spaces. You can upgrade what cards are in those spaces, and as you upgrade those, they flip around and become other powers that you gain on other people's turns. So one side is when you roll the dice, you roll 2 dice, 2 6-sided die, and you can either combine those into one number or take each of the 2 separate numbers from your tableau. And then the other players around the table get to select whether they're going to add it together or take the 2 numbers. And they get the top. It's good. It's fun. It is a game where you get a turn every time somebody rolls a set of dice. Whether it's you rolling dice or one of your opponents, you're going to get something out of it. And the more you strategize and the more you play with those common numbers like 7 and 6 and all those, the more options you're going to have and the cooler prizes you're going to get whenever somebody else rolls those numbers. So that is Space Base. It's a fun game. It is a 2 to 4 player, and it's got a lot of components. Don't let that intimidate you. It is a fun game.
Yeah, it is really fun. I like how dynamic it is, and I like how there's a number of avenues to win. But I really like that it is something that you can change your strategy in mid-game and still have a good opportunity of winning or at least catching up. So it's a fun game.
Yep, it's a lot of fun. Highly recommend it.
Okay, my next game that I'm going to go over.
On the bottom of the stack.
I know I have to keep it entertaining for myself. So the next game I'm going over is Quirkle, and this is a tile placement game, and it is for 2 to 4 players. And what I really like about this game is that anybody can play it and have a great time, and it is a game that you can learn like this. It is the only game that we have in our list that is recommended for as young as 6 years old. I think the rest of them is like 8 years old or 11 years old or higher. And this is 6 and higher. And I would venture to say that if you got a kid that knows their shapes and their colors, and a lot of kids know that at a young age, 4 years old, I feel like it could be played by someone even younger than
Under
6.
supervision.
Under supervision, because they're Well, they're not that small.
Yeah.
They're bigger than Scrabble pieces. But you will need someone to probably to keep score. So other than that, I feel like a really young kid could play it. But don't get deterred by that and think, oh, it's just for kids. Adults are not going to like it. Adults love this game. I've only ever played this game with adults. And I think the youngest person I ever played was just one person, my friend and her daughter, who was 14 at the time. And the 14-year-old loved it as much as, us 40-year-olds. So, and I have people who don't like to game. Like, they adamantly say, I hate gaming. And they'll sit down and have such a great time with this game. So, how it works is the gameplay, to me, is similar to Scrabble. Because you're placing the tiles on your table and you're making connections. So, if you have a similar shape, you can connect your tile to another. Or if you have a similar color. And each player gets 6 tiles, and when it's their turn to go, they're trying to make that connection. If they feel they cannot make a connection, then they can skip their turn, and replace tiles. You don't want to do that too many times, because when you're replacing tiles, other people are still making moves and getting points, and you can get behind. And if you think that you're going to get a Quirkle and catch up, if you've passed too many times, even the Quirkle isn't going to help you. And the Quirkle is when you place 6 tiles, you get at least 12 points. But depending on where you place those tiles, you can get even more than 12 points. So it is just a really fun, quick game. The only downfall to it for some people is some people don't enjoy having to keep, score on each turn. You have to manually do that, write down everyone's names and put down their points. But I personally don't mind it. It's a really fun game.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. And just one more note on the rules. You're either matching all of the shapes of one color, or you're matching all of the colors of one shape. So like right there, here they have all the circles. You're going to match those.
You can see it better on the back.
Yeah, on the back you can see even better. So here they have the squares, all of different colors, and here they have the red with all the different shapes. There are 6 colors and 6 different shapes. If you place the last tile, like she said, of any particular color or any particular shape, you score the 6 points for placing the 6th tile, along with a bonus 6 points, and that is the Quirkle, along with any other points you get from any other connections. So, yep, it is a great game, a lot of fun, and we thoroughly enjoyed every time we put it on the table.
Yeah.
All right, my next game is going to be one of the games. I have 2 games in this spot in this setup that have been our collection almost from the beginning of the time we started collecting board games. And the first one is one that's kind of been sitting there in your eye line a little bit, and that is, all right, you quit spoiling yourselves. Get out of the frame. And that is Ticket to Ride. This game is a modern classic. This is one of the few games in our collection, along with one she's going to talk about, another one I'm going to talk about, that you can actually find at Walmart. This is a great game where you are a traveler trying to make routes across the country on old trains, and as you connect different places, you score points, and you get these cards that give you different routes that you have to try to do, like, let's say, New York to LA, or Miami to Washington, or some other shorter routes that you gain bonus points if you're able to connect those by the end of the game. You also get penalties if you're not. So it's a great game that is very simple to learn. It's something most every game in this list has in common, is very simple gameplay that is easy to learn, easy to teach, and a lot of fun to master.
Yes, and when you're playing this game, a good thing to pay attention to is how common you think the route is, because you can get thwarted or cut off, I should say, by another player who is going for that same route. And that adds a little bit of, anxiousness, anxiety to the game, but it adds a little bit of fun too.
A little bit of take that.
You can cut the other person off as well.
So, yeah. That is Ticket to Ride.
And this is one that a lot, like he said, you can find it anywhere. And it's one of those ones that I feel like it's a common game that even people who don't consider themselves into board games, they will buy this game and will like this game.
This is a great entry level into the modern board game.
Yep.
And and there are a bunch of different versions and expansions out for it now. I saw at Walmart the other day, Ticket to Ride London, which is a much smaller box. It's a tiny little box, and it's a much smaller version of this particular game. It looks cool. Ticket to Ride, highly recommend.
Okay, I'm going to let you go again because, I'm being a little bit sneaky with the way I'm doing some of my last ones. So I think you should.
Well, I'm going to talk about the other one that's been in our collection since pretty much the beginning.
And another one that's a gateway gaming.
Yes.
Gateway board game.
And another one I want to kind of show off.
Gateway into gaming.
Show off an element of a lot of these games, with a few exceptions. Is basically one page of rules. That's it. That's your entire rule book right here. A couple of the games she's got over there have the same style of rule book, and Ticket to Ride's very close to that. So, very simple game to learn how to play, and that is, I'm turning it upside down, Splendor. This is a set collection it's set collection. You're building an engine using sets of cards. Initially, you're going to use coins you're going to buy from the bank. You're only allowed to have, I think, 10 coins maximum. And you're going to use those coins at different gemstones, which are diamonds, sapphires, onyx, all kinds of, blue, red, green, black, and then gold are your wilds.
You're going to go through every color.
Yeah, I'm going to go through every color. You're using those coins to buy cards. Those cards are gem producers, be they gem cutters, jewel cutters, or mines, or jewelry stores. Depending on what level they're on, the more valuable those cards are, and the more expensive they get. And the cards will have a gemstone on them. Those gemstones allow you to use those cards to purchase future cards, and also to gain points, because some of them have points on them. When a player reaches 15, that signals the end of the game, 15 points, and whoever has the most points at the end of that round wins the game. So that is Splendor. There's a lot I haven't explained, but that's most of it.
Yeah, because I think we said it in the beginning, but if not, this is not a how-to, it's not a playthrough, it's just our recommendations, and we're mainly talking about what we like about the game and why we're recommending it. If you want us to do a more in-depth how-to or playthrough of any of these games that we're going over, just let us know in the comments, and we will do it in a future video, because we do have some of those planned already.
Yep.
So if you're done with that one, I'll move on to my next one. And I don't know if anyone saw me fiddling around with this timer over here, but I've been using it off camera to try to, speed myself up so that I don't spend too long on any one game. I think the next time we do one of these recommendations, I'm going to put it where people can see it.
And so see you fail at
Yeah, pretty much. See how
my
own timer that I can decided to do to myself. Why, I don't know. Anyway, the next one that I've got is Codenames, and both of these, they pretty much play the same way, but one is themed and one is the regular. This one's Harry Potter. I wanted to show them both because I just wanted to show how Codenames has so many versions of them out there, and we don't have them all, but I wouldn't be opposed to getting them all because they're just so much fun. And then depending on the theme, you get different words on your cards. And the cards are your clues that you are having to try to give words to your teammates for them to guess what that clue is on the card. Now, we talked about Codenames in our couples recommendations or two-player game recommendations, and it was Codenames Duet. But this Codenames is the regular version, and the gameplay is similar. You have a bunch of cards that you put out on the table in a grid, and then you and your opponent, you pull another card which has a quadrant on it of words that you are going to have as the clues that you're trying to get your teammates to guess. So these are 2 to 8 or 2 to more. You can combine them to make a even larger game. And with both of these games, they're really great party games, and you can do it in teams. You can have, it says 2 to 8, but you really can do house rules and have as many people on your team helping to guess for the words as you want. So yeah, that's Codenames, and we've played it at many parties, and it's always fun.
Yeah, it's always a great time. We always, a lot of laughs. And that's Codenames. This is one of the other games on this list, at least the regular version of the game. There might be more versions, but this is found at Walmart and just about anywhere else. It's a lot of fun. And
we bought this one at one of our Codename games at Barnes & Nobles. So yeah, it's found at a lot of places.
So that's a great game. Codenames.
And for you Harry Potter lovers, this is the Harry Potter edition.
There's Marvel edition, there's DC edition, there's Disney. There's all kinds of different editions of Codenames.
There's the adult edition.
Yep, we've got that one too.
It was given to us as a gift.
Codenames After Dark. Or Deep Undercover. Sorry, Deep Undercover. That's the name of that one. Codenames Deep Undercover. So my next game on this list is one of our other big, I keep saying favorites. All of these games are
That's
on
why they're
our
all
list
on
of
the
favorites. Azul. This is a tile placing game, abstract tile placing game with a lot of Euro elements. Euro games are games that you really don't know who's winning until the end of the game. Even though this has a score tracker, there are ways to score big points right at the end of the game where you thought you were in the lead and she comes along and kicks your butt. So Azul is a 2 to 4 player game of tile placing on your own personal board. It's right here. And there are these circular tiles in the middle of the board, in the middle of the table. Each one of them has four tiles on it, randomly picked from a bag. And you're taking the tiles you want, and the rest of them go in the middle. And then people can take from the middle and add to their boards, and that's how the first player token gets passed around. The first player to take tiles from the middle of the board suffers a negative point in their scoring, but they become the first player for the next round. There's an opportunity for the first player to change every single round. So that is Azul. It's a really fun game. We love having it in our collection.
Yes.
We have this one. We also have the second one, but we haven't got the third one yet because there are two sequels to this game right now out. We have the second one, which is the stained glass of someplace. This one's about the tiles, and blue tiles to be specific, of Azul.
Yeah, I like the second one, the stained glass one, because I really like the look of it. But the third one, with I think it has like a circle or something like that. I like playing it, but I'm not that brokenhearted that we don't have it in our collection, because of the three, it's my least favorite.
And I really enjoy it. I enjoy it more than the second one, but this one will always hold a special place in my heart. It's just a fun game. It's a great one to introduce people because, again, it's got a very simple mechanic that anyone can pick up and learn, and just it's a lot of fun. It can be a brain burner, and there are a lot of ways to add complexity to the game. We have an expansion that adds other kind of where they force you to make a mosaic pattern, which adds a whole level of complexity to the game that your normal just grayed out tiles don't have. It's a lot of fun. I highly recommend.
Okay, so for my next recommendation, it is recommendations 9 through 11. Now, I know with Codenames I did that as one recommendation, but with Century Spice, I'm now saying that they're separate recommendations. And I feel like I have to because the gameplay of each one is different. Now, when you open the box, you can tell they're all from the same world because your resources are all the same. They're all 2 to 4 player. They're all resource management. But then in addition to the resource management, each one of them have an additional gameplay mechanism. Like for the original Century Spice, it has engine building because you have cards that you are using your resources to buy. And then you use those cards to get more resources. And the resources allow you to buy victory point cards. And when you get that 6th victory point card, I'm calling it victory point card. It might be called something different. But when you get that 6th card, that signifies the end of the game. And then you add up the total of victory points on each card, and the person with the most points wins. So this game, the original, is a pretty simple game. But depending on how well someone else builds their engine, it depends on, how quickly they're able to buy those victory point cards. So it is a really fun game, and it can be really, really quick for all of the things that you have to do. It can be really quick. I enjoy it. Of the 3, it's my favorite. Yeah. The second one is Eastern Wonder. This is my least favorite one, and simply because it is a movement game, and you place tiles on the board and create your marketplace and your locations that you can move to, and you will not be able to move to certain locations if you don't have the resources to do so. And then resources being your what do you call it? Your ship, right? Mm. And correct me if I'm saying something wrong because it's been a while since I've played it.
It's been a while since I played it.
But when you move to a certain location, if someone else is there, then you got to pay them. So, I do not like paying nobody else in the game any of anything. And I don't like when I want to move somewhere and I'm not able to because I don't have the resources. So it's things like that which makes this one is still a fun game, and I still enjoy it, but it makes me enjoy it less than the original. Now this one is, like I said, it's a bit resource management as well, but it is also a movement game. And with the last one, I actually like this one. I don't like it as I don't like it more than the first one, but I like it really close. It's like a close second for me because it's a really dynamic game. There's a lot of ways you can try to get resources to try to get those victory cards to be able to win. So I always like when the game, when someone can't run away with the game.
Yeah.
And so with this one, it is a resource management, but also a worker placement game. And that's probably why I really like it, because I'm always wavering back and forth between whether resource management or worker placement is my favorite game mechanic. And this one has both. And one thing I like about this game is something that, it's just a cool thing, that when you put the box down, I don't know if you can really catch that on the camera, but they combine to create a picture. And you know what? You can also combine these games to make one game, especially with New World and Eastern Wonders. You can combine it and play like one big game.
I was trying to see if they go in a particular order.
They do. You just did it.
Yeah.
Yep, there you go. So I think that looks cool.
It does.
And that should be the thumbnail right there. This is the thumbnail. think we got it, right?
All right. Just just add my little 2 cents because she knows I have to. She didn't explain anything wrong. Like she said, this is I gotta go this way because the camera's all wonky for me. Still trying to get used to that whole thing. But Spice Road is the first game in the series, and it's a resource management engine building game. Like I said, this one's a movement and resource management and worker placement resource management. Resource management is the thread that locks all of them together, so they can then be combined into these two games. These two games. These two games are all three of them together. Any combination of the three or all three of them together or by themselves. There are rules contained within each of these games to do all those different combinations. So this is actually like 7 games in 3 boxes. And some of them play better than others. We have not combined any of them yet. We're still enjoying the hell out of this one and this one by themselves, and haven't combined any of them into the different other games that are available.
So what's your last one?
My last one.
I'm just trying to pay attention to time, you guys, because I don't want this to be an hour-long video.
My last one is Takanoko. And I've got the sticker stuck to the back of the box. No! It's sat on the Star Wars stickers from a previous video. Alright, Takanoko. Get out of the sun. Get out of the sun. Takanoko is a 2 to 4 player game where you are managing or mismanaging, depending on what you do on your turn, a Japanese garden. This Japanese garden contains a panda that the Emperor of China gave to the Emperor of Japan as a gift. You also have a gardener who gets very frustrated because he's trying to grow bamboo and the fat little panda's coming along and eating it. You get to control all these elements. You control the bamboo that's growing. You control what kind of bamboo grows within certain parts of the garden. You move the panda to get him to eat bamboo, and you move the gardener to get him to grow bamboo. It is a fun game that is so cute. You can get just about anybody of any age to play it. The pieces are cute, especially the little panda. He's adorable to move around. And in the back, you see you're placing tiles in a growing grid of, what is it, hexes? Hexagons?
Yeah, hexagons.
Hexes to expand the garden, and the color of the tile determines what color bamboo grows in that. And then you're doing set collection with cards to try to manipulate the garden to fill the cards for victory points. And that's where you get your victory points, is by fulfilling cards. You can get cards that tell you what the panda needs to have in his belly in order to score that card. You get cards that tell what kind of bamboo needs to grow in the garden to score that card. And you get cards that tell you what kind of segments of bamboo, green, pink, yellow, what have you, need to be growing together in a certain pattern within the garden in order to score that card. It's a fun game. Highly recommend it. It is a beautiful game, especially at the end of the game. You want to kind of admire it a little bit.
So out of all of these games that we just went over, if you had never heard of them and you just heard of these games right now, which one would you be like, okay, I want to play this one right now? Or I'm going to go out and get that one right now?
You're asking me?
I'm asking you.
You're asking me. Out of all these games...
Yeah, say something real quick so this video doesn't go on too long. Because I'm asking the same question of you guys as well while he's thinking of it. Let us know what your answer is in the comments while he's still thinking of it. Based off, what we said about each game, I would probably go with Century Spice, I think.
Yeah.
The original. Yeah. Is that what you would go with
Yes.
as well? Yeah. So what would you guys say in the comments? What would you choose as one that you would want to play right now? Let us know in the comments. Until next time, I'm always Keena. I'm Keena.
And I guess I'm William this time.
Yes, this time. We're the Nerdy Wiz, and until next time, stay nerdy.